Well, hello everybody, I'm JayLeonardJ, and today I'm going to help you figure out which of these piezo preamps would fit the best for your acoustic rig. Well, those crazy cats from Canada down at Radial came up with 4 really cool looking piezo preamps. They sound fantastic. Going from small to large, we have the AC driver, the PZ-Deluxe, the PZ Pre, and finally the PZ Pro. And I guess if you're from the States, you'd call it PZ. It really depends on what part of the world you're from. I'm Canadian, so I'm going PZ today. As you can tell, going from the smallest one to the largest one, what you're gonna get is each stage is going to get a little bit more complex, has a little bit more options. They all build upon each other. So the bigger one has the features of the smaller one. So you really kind of have to figure out exactly where your needs are going to be. Do you need something really straightforward and direct, or you need all the features, all the stuff, especially if you're mixing different sources together or using multiple instruments and needing different EQs, it could get pretty intense. So what I'm going to do today is I'm actually going to use my little Yamaha parlor guitar here, and I'm going to use each one of these and show you exactly what you can do with all of these different ones, and hopefully I can help you figure out which is the right one for you. Let's get into it. The first box we are checking out is the AC driver. It's pretty much just a little tiny box that you could put in your bag and it'll make your acoustic instrument just sound better. It's a preamp for your instrument, so it'll get the weaker sounding output of these instruments and just really give you a lot more juice to work with and send out to the board or to send out to your amp, as well as it has a really high 10 mega ohm input impedance, so you'll get the full frequency of your pickups even if you're using those passive piezos. This one has a direct out for the board, which is line level, output here, lots of level, low cut, and a notch suppressor. So if you're having a feedback frequency when you're on stage, you can just find it and dial it out. Phase reversal. Let's hear what this thing sounds like. Now you might be wondering why I would get something like this as opposed to just using the DI box at the venue or plugging direct. Well, you're gonna actually have a big sound difference, especially if you're using these passive piezo pickups. The input impedance on most DI boxes, they don't really complement acoustic instruments. I'll show you what I mean. This is a DI box right here, and it has pretty much what you're gonna see, 1 mega ohm input impedance. You're gonna notice that things are less low end, a little bit more harsh in your face mids. Now with the higher input impedance over here, you'll notice more low end, more smoothed out stuff, less harsh. Wow, that's actually a bit of a difference, isn't it? Let's hear it one more time. This is the basic DI. So if you just want to get your sound, that fullness and that richness on the go, this AC driver box might just be the one for you. The AC driver is an awesome unit if you just want to get yourself a great signal to send to the board. You got a sound man that you trust, but sometimes we might need a little bit more control than that. We need to control our own sound, our own EQ. That's where the PZ-Deluxe comes in. You can tell this unit's a little bit bigger. It has all the features that the AC driver has, except there's no notch filter. Instead, it actually has 3-knob EQ. There's a low cut filter here as well, all the other stuff that you'll see on the driver, as well as that piezo buffer that I showed off in that last setting. You could turn it on or off. And last but not least, you also have a boost. So if you need a little bit more volume when you're doing finger picking, and then when you're strumming, you could turn it off to even out your volumes, or maybe you could use it as a solo boost, and there is a control on this side over here so you don't accidentally knock it in the middle of your intense solo. So let's see exactly how we can sculpt our sound a little bit. This is what it sounds like. That's pretty good to start off with, and actually I noticed right off the bat this has a lot more output than even the AC driver, so this thing is actually packing a lot of heat. Let's go sculpt the mids a little bit. Wow, so obviously a lot more features here. You could really get in that sound, get rid of some of the weird frequencies and the piezo pickups without having to rely on the sound guy. A very, very good piece of equipment for the musician on the go. Well, up next is the PZ Pre. This is where things start getting really, really exciting. It has all the features of the previous PZ-Deluxe, only it brings back the feedback notch from the AC driver, which is very, very nice to have back. Not only that, it also has two direct outs. One has the EQ in it, and the other doesn't have the EQ in it, which is great because you could set your own EQ sound for your personal mix, and you could give the sound person their own full range thing and they can mix it to the way they want to hear it. So a very, very useful feature there. Another thing that makes this thing really stand out is instead of one input, we have two, and each one has its own level knob so you can balance the levels. So right now, in input A, I have my acoustic. And then what I did, I'll mute it right now, in input B, I actually put this really funky guitar banjo here. Check this out. So the last thing this box has that makes this very, very useful is an effects loop. So you could actually put your effects in there. I like having the effects in the loop as opposed to in front of the unit because, again, that piezo buffer, it really helps things this way, so that way this doesn't impact my impedance at all. So I have it in the effects loop. I could activate the effects loop with this foot switch. I could set this to turn on and off the effects loop. I could set it to turn on and off the boost, or both. So let's do both. This is the reverb. Last but not least, we come to the flagship of the entire series. This is the Pro model, and it has everything. 2 fully featured channels with their own separate EQs, especially good if you have 2 instruments that sound very different and you want to get that EQ just right. You can assign the effects loop to either channel or both, and it has a blend this time. Again, we have the boost and effects loop on and off button over here, and we have the dual output, but this time this direct output has their own independent phase and lift buttons this time as well. Not only that, okay, this is where it gets really fun. We actually can have, for the second channel, a microphone plugged in. And the microphone also has the option for phantom power. So you can use this thing with vocals and your guitar, or vocals and your instrument. But today, we're gonna do something really, really fun. I have my piezo pickup plugged into channel 1, and then this microphone over here, miking my guitar, going into channel 2, and I'm actually going to press the button here that makes it so both channels are on at the same time. So now I have a dual source pickup system to bring the absolute awesomeness of my instrument out to the public. You get the directness and firmness of the piezo mixed with the openness of the guitar to come up with pretty much the best collaboration of both sounds. I have the reverb only on the piezo channel, and check out this sound. And that is the PZ Pro. Well, that is it. That is the video. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to the page if you haven't already. Check out the links in the description below. And if you want to hear my reviews on all 4 of those units, please check it out on Patreon. I do all my reviews funded by the Patreon subscribers on Patreon, and I do all my demos and tutorials and lesson stuff right here on YouTube. My question for the subscribers today is, if you're an acoustic player, which one of these do you think would be the most suited for your rig and your needs? Please write it down in the comments section below. That being said, I'll see you all soon. Take care and goodbye.